Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Nice. Hello.
Hello.
I think we are complete and now we can start. So first of all, thank you all for joining the Space Education and Youth Participation panel. My name is Saviër Atya, and it's my pleasure to moderate this panel for you today. How I see this panel today is to have a starting discussion on how we can influence the youth on space topics and increase the youth participation in space. A short introduction on myself, and also the reason why I think that this is a very important topic is because I myself was a very enthusiastic person about space, and it got me to excel in my educational career. And it got me through getting 3 high school certificates with the motivation to become a student at the Faculty of Aerospace Engineering, to pursue my dream and passion. Hence, I'm also one of the initiators of Spacefluencers, a team of young students and professionals planning to educate, inspire the next generation as we aim to venture beyond the stars. Today, we have a quite diverse set of panelists during this session, as this is a quite broad subject. And therefore, I will let them all introduce themselves for you now. So I would like to start with Jop.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jop Stolk. I'm 17 years old and I'm in the last year of my pre-university school. After graduating, my goal is to study aerospace engineering at the Technical University Delft. Our school, Kaj Munk College, offered the opportunity to participate in technical projects. I've participated for 2 years with the team sailing boat in the Young Solar Challenge, and last year I participated in the CanSat competition.
Already quite active for a high school student then.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Okay, I will go over to Bart Smits.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Bart Smits. I'm a student of aerospace engineering, also at the TU Delft. But more importantly, I'm the team leader of education group within DARE. DARE is a student society around rocketry, aiming not only to reach space with a student-built rocket, but also to improve experimental rocketry and education along the way. Years ago, I started in DARE, building small rockets, and I climbed my way into various different roles. But last year, I did my best work. I started a program called De Raketbouwers, which brings enthusiastic education about making and about passion to schools all around the Netherlands. Currently, I'm working on expanding this program and other programs to reach more youth in more different areas, different countries, with partners all across Europe.
Okay, nice. Let's go over to Prachi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Prachi Sachdeva. I am a telecommunications engineer from the TU Delft in the Netherlands. And for a few years, I've been working in the industry as a technical consultant. I currently work with a company called Alten. And at the same time, I volunteer at Lunar Zebro, which is a TU Delft faculty project where we're building the world's smallest and lightest rover yet with a team of students. I work there as the partner relations manager, and I'm really excited to be in the discussion with you all.
Nice, thank you. I would like to go to Jasper.
Thank you. My name is Jasper Wamsteker. I'm Head of Communication and Education of the Netherlands Space Office, which is the space agency of the Netherlands. And I am the chair of the Advisory Committee on Education of ESA, European Space Agency, as well. I've been working for almost 2 decades already in the space sector, and I've always been involved in education projects. Now as well, our responsibility is one of our responsibilities is to involve more students in primary school, high school, into science and technology and space. So we run a couple of projects. One of them is indeed the CanSat competition. So it's great to have some CanSat students here. And they launched their rocket with a Dare rocket. So it's great as well to have Dare in the house. And I also know about the Lunar project and Prachi is involved with. So it's great to be here. I think we are all there where we want to be and where we would like others to be there as well. So I'm curious as well, how did you get into the space scene? Yeah. But I don't want to sit on your seat, Saviër.
Yeah, so I think we still have Tim. Let's go to Tim for his introduction. And then indeed, let's go and discuss this great topic and see how we can bring this over to other people. Tim?
Well, hello everybody. I am Tim Guezen, a 17-year-old student at Kaj Munk College. Right now I'm in my final year of VWO. I've been interested in space and technology since I was 7 years old. I've participated in the Young Solar Challenge and CanSat competition together with Jop. Those are both national competitions with technology, and the CanSat competition also with aerospace. And after I finish high school, I'd like to study aerospace engineering at the TU Delft.
Nice. So let's just start with the first question actually, and that is, how do we raise more awareness amongst the youth for space? And I think maybe Tim, as you were the last speaking, maybe you want to continue and say your thoughts about that.
For me, I got interested in space after I visited Space Expo in Noordwijk. That's a museum about space and space travel. And I think those museums and locations where you can really see how we travel in space and how big space is, especially for the young children, those are really important. And I think that is one of the main things that will get child enthusiastic about space.
And did you find out about that yourself, or did it come, or was that your first touch with space? Let's say
that was my first touch with space. I went there with my grandparents. They arranged everything, but I got interested in space while I was there.
Okay, that's nice. That's good. Maybe Jop, what are your thoughts about how we can inspire the youth about space? And how did it happen with you?
Yeah, I also got interested in space at a very young age, especially from TV and seeing all the impressive things they get done nowadays. And to see astronauts fly in zero-G, that's crazy, and that's still one of my big dreams. So also my parents let me see a lot of these things and read them. So I think it's very important also for parents to get their kids involved at a young age, so kids know what's going on in the world and beyond.
Yeah. So that was your parents got you the first touch with space.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, nice. So then I would like to go over to actually Bart, Prachi, and Jasper are all already affiliated with space. What was your first touch with space, and how do you think that we can inspire the youth about space? Who would like to, maybe Bart would like to start?
Yeah, so like Tim and Jop, I got interested in space at a very young age. And I was lucky to do that because, of course, a lot of people don't always have that support. I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel and look up to the stars, but there are a lot of people that don't have that immediate interaction with space. And so for me, the question also of how do we raise more awareness amongst youth? If we look at CanSat, then you answer that question by using technology, for example. But I also see the question being reversed. How do we raise more awareness about technology and about aiming towards the future by using space. For example, using the cool factor that space always has, that rockets have, to get kids excited about making a future, about making the future themselves. Because what we also have to realize is that space is not only a goal, it's not only a destination, it's also the canvas of our future. And if we can get people, if we can get kids, if we can get the youth excited to use technology and space together, then they can make that future in space. Like, they will do that automatically because that's where our future lies. We know that for certain. So yeah, for me also the question can be reversed.
Okay. Jasper, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, the words of Bart are really words from my heart, because indeed, I think space is not only a goal. Maybe some decades ago it was, but there has a lot happened. Space has developed rapidly, and space is now a kind of common infrastructure. And space is a solution to challenges the world is facing about climate change, about agriculture, about a lot. So I think yes, space is an inspirational subject itself already, and we can make use of that. And we can make use of that to show the youth how we can that we can solve problems, that we can face challenges, and that we can use technology, space technology, to do so, and that it's even close by for students to do something themselves, like a project as CanSat shows, like students at the Delft University working on their own satellite show, like the Lunar rover shows of the TU Delft. So I think it's an exciting time, and I think it's our call to show kids in primary schools, secondary schools, but also at high school, higher education, that they can do something in the future. The space pioneers of the future are in the classrooms now.
Yeah, that's indeed. Prachi, what are your thoughts?
I think that schools definitely need to sort of start tapping into the cool factor of space. There's a lot of stuff happening in space which goes really quickly, but what people read, of course, is something that happened probably in the 1970s or something. I think it would be really cool if schools started organizing, for example, viewing parties for launches, just to bring kids together, because that would be making something really exciting. But there's also a flip side that probably just might be my opinion, would be nice to hear what the other panelists think, is when you're at the school level, there's a lot of, space is very mystified, it just seems very unattainable, very hard to study. You're not really able to make the connection between, I'm just learning math and these rockets are going into space, and you're not really able to make it. So I feel there's a need to sort of demystify the thing, sort of break it down, trace it back and show how it really boils down to the basic principles of science. And I mean, a lot of people use the term very vaguely, but people say, it's not rocket science, which makes it seem like, rocket science is really hard, you should not be trying that. But I feel like you really do need to demystify it a bit, because that would make it more attainable, or at least make it seem more attainable.
Yeah, I think actually Bart mentioned something similar. He said that he had the right support to even reach the current his current place, let's say. What do you guys think that we can do with that, actually demystify it?
Well, a problem that I see a lot is that, for example, teachers don't know a lot about it, so they also don't like talking about it. And that's also what suppresses our growth in interest in space, for example. And I think when teachers know more about it, or know that it's not that big that you don't get it, if they know things about it, they can get younger people excited about it and talk with them about it.
And do you encounter it a lot, or does it suppress you oftentimes?
Now, I have a lot of friends that are also interested in it, so I can talk with them about it. But a lot of the times teachers don't really know. Even my physics teacher, he gives physics, but he only gives examples from the book and not from real life and from space.
Yeah.
That's
Do you
something
share-
we anticipate. Sorry.
No, continue.
Okay, well, that's a good point, Jop, and that's something we try to anticipate on with the S.U.Z.Y project, which is a project commissioned by NSO and ESA, where resources for classes are made to facilitate the teachers, to make their life easier. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think another point is that teachers have a packed curriculum, and their challenge is to get to the end of the school year and touch all subjects they need to touch. So a lot of teachers simply do not have the space in their curriculum to talk about space.
Yeah, exactly. But for example, how we got to know about CanSat is one of our teachers told a little bit about it. He did not know a lot, but he told a little bit about it to another group, and I heard that. So I started asking and searching the internet, and that's how I came to CanSat together with Tim. I told him about it, and he also was really excited.
So it actually was you,
Yeah,
the driving force.
Yeah, because I just heard a little bit and I started digging into it because it was not really told to us directly. And now,
I think what's also really interesting is, like Jop mentioned, that his teachers don't know much, but then there's also organizations which let you join as a volunteer. So there's the Space Generation Advisory Council, where if you're a student, you can join as a volunteer. So maybe if schools promote this and let you pick up some credits or some, something for it, you can really give it to the people who know the stuff, and then kids would be encouraged to join that as well.
Yeah. Can I make a quick argument for the question part you asked before about the missing link between kids being excited about space and actually thinking they can do it? That's also what we're trying to solve with the raketbouwers. For me, I say I'm a rocket engineer, and all my colleagues at there are rocket engineers. Not because you have certificates or diplomas or all kinds of fancy stuff. It's because we build something, aim it up, and try to reach space. And it looks like a rocket, so we are rocket engineers. And to me, that applies also to kids. That applies across the entire spectrum. You are what you think you are, and you are what you're trying to achieve. And with the raketbouwers, you go to elementary schools, we build paper rockets, we put them on an air cannon, and we fire them off. And then we say, you are a raketbouwer, and a raketbouwer is just a rocket builder, a rocket engineer. And the most important message from that is that you don't, like, the level can seem very high, but if you just aim for it, if you go for it, you can be a rocket engineer. You can be something amazing. You can be something you always dreamt of. You just need to go for it. And that connection, we apply it with rockets because we love rockets, but we also try to make it a bit more general. You can be a doctor. You can be an archaeologist. You can be anything you want to be, irregardless of your background. if you aim for it and you go for it and you launch and you try to reach it. And so making that connection, bridging that missing link between seeing Falcon Heavy landing on the news, which a lot of kids I talked to, they saw it, they thought it was awesome. And then also hopefully realizing that, hey, you can also build a rocket. You can also try to go to space. You can also try to do what they did. You just need to go for it and give it some time.
So where do you think is the best place then for students to start, or when they even would like to contribute to space or start building rockets, for instance? What is the first step they should take?
Be excited and tell their teachers, of course, because unfortunately for elementary school kids they don't have that much independence yet. But as Jasper was saying with his hero is a really important partner also for us and for a lot of schools in the Netherlands and outside of that to just start doing projects. There's a website called Thuis in de Ruimte. I'll send the link a bit later, where elementary school children themselves can also start doing experiments related to space. But for me, what is always really important is to emphasize that we have to make our future. We cannot buy it, we cannot order it online or have somebody else do it for us. We have to actually make our future. And that means getting our hands dirty and getting the craft supplies out. If it's paper or for us later on it's aluminium, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I also remember something that I had a chat with Tim before the panel, and I heard that indeed a lot of teachers don't have a lot of knowledge about space, or they don't know and discourage students sometimes. And something which is actually nice is the theme of the World Space Week this year, and that is Satellites Improve Life. And I think that is actually something very interesting that we can address and show people that space is not just space. No, it actually helps us here on Earth as well. Did you ever hear about that, Tim, or did you get educated before on space applications here on Earth, or how it influences us here?
Did I get educated by teachers? No. Did I educate myself? Yes. And I think that's a big difference. And as I said, some teachers, they say you can't do it because it's rocket science, it's too high for you. And that really discourages some people. And by educating the teachers and showing them what the possibilities are, you will remove that discouragement and give them more space. And I think that's a big step in education of space.
I can already see that Jasper didn't like hearing that. Do you have?
Well, I of course I like hearing thoughts about people of the generation of Tim. But I would like to pose another thought. I think we should also think about how would the work in space look like in the future. You need more people than just rocket scientists to realize a space program or to realize future space activities. And especially in the future, or actually now already, you also need skills of communication, telling your story, marketing, making a business plan. There is the space activities will be more and more commercial, and I think Bart already experiences that he has to have a look very well at his finances to run the show of Dare. Space is going to be a different kind of space than the space of 10 years ago.
I'd actually like to draw on Jasper's point because he mentioned, of course, marketing, finance and everything. But one of the other things that people don't realize is that space engineering or space technology is not just about space. I mean, there's every branch of engineering really feeds into it. You cannot do space applications without a, I don't know, embedded systems engineer. You cannot do it without a telecommunications engineer. So every branch of engineering has ground applications and it has space applications. And at a school level, it's important to sort of, make that known, because a lot of people feel that there's only one sector which is reserved for it, but that's not true.
And how about artificial intelligence in space? We are on the World AI Summit, I understand. Yeah. Artificial intelligence is going to be a big thing in space as well. For example, analyzing satellite images.
Yeah, definitely, indeed.
Do you think it can play a role also in educating and inspiring the youth about space, artificial intelligence?
I think it can show that there is, like I said, several technologies feed into space, and this is one of them. I mean, it enables space exploration, and it makes it smarter. And of course, that link, making that link is important.
Mm-hmm. I want to get back to Jasper again. You mentioned several school levels about where we should start, actually. And then the question would be, what is the best time to start space education for youth? Is it primary school? Is it high school? What are your thoughts on that?
You can start in any level. But I think in different levels you should bring it in a different way. I think we all can remember the moment that we were touched by the subject space. For me, I clearly remember the first time I watched through a telescope to the moon, and I could see the moon craters and mountains, and I realized there's a world over there. Well, for me as an 8-year-old boy, this was really puzzling, and that space got me from then. But in secondary schools and higher, I think we should more bring the subject of, for example, coding and how to use satellite data and how to and there's another world there to be entered for the new space pioneers. So yes, I think kids from the year of 8 to 10 years old, they are very that's a good moment to inspire them. Some years later, they will have some time they are looking to each other more than to other things. But in every grade, there can you can start with bringing the space subject.
Yeah. And then the question would be is how can we actually support the teacher? So Marco also mentioned it in the chat of the panel. How can we support teachers to actually get through with getting the spark to the students, for instance? Because you mentioned, it seems like a quite simple activity, looking through the telescope. Should we bring telescopes to high schools and let them have a night there to look through it? Or what can we do?
Actually, we have a telescope at school, but it's very sad. It don't get used a lot because I've never watched through it in the 5 years I'm at my school now. But it is just sitting there on the roof, and there are not that much things that get done with it. Yeah, I would love to see some things through it.
Yes, I think I'm at the same school. I think it's not being used because actually, I think none of the teachers right now know how to operate the telescope, and it's quite an expensive one, and school doesn't want to break it. So they're really cautious with students in the sphere, and that's really unfortunately that is happening this way.
Yeah, the teacher that knew a lot about it left our school after our first year at our school.
I think instead of educating or training all of the teachers on something, it's better to just create hobby groups within schools where you can actually find enthusiasts who may not necessarily be teachers, but just know a lot about it, to come and volunteer their time or just to manage the groups. I mean, within my school, I was a part of the astronomy club, and I see someone in the comment section said, yeah, schools are during the day, but we used to get special night, we used to sleep in the school at night. They used to organize things for us where it's a whole session and you're a hobby group and you relate with everyone. I think that's a good way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Are
if
there
I can...
any...
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
Yeah, this is also, of course, something that we deal with very much in education group, because the way we solve it is to hold work sessions where we either go to the school or the school comes to the science center in Delft, and hopefully also in the future in other cities, where we, instead of giving the teachers more material to get through in a year, they're already full. So what we also try to do is, how can we make it fun? How can we make it a excursion, even though you don't go far, even though it's in the same classroom as they always do their things? How can we make it an excursion into space, so the kids have a very fun time? And when that fun time, when that passion of our members resonates with the enthusiasm and the energy of the children, they both learn. They get more enthusiastic, they get more energetic. But for the teachers, it's also a moment to see, hey, this kid has a lot of passions in that field, or this kid is very enthusiastic about that. And that alleviates a bit of the hopefully a bit of the normal workload that they would have to do. Within there, it's never our aim to give dry material about space. It's always to make people enthusiastic about our future and about using space and using rockets, because that's what we are good at. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember you mentioned quite a lot of projects that you're organizing.
Yes.
Are they is it only you have the technical routes in the high school? Are there also other students from non-STEM education, let's say, on high school or not, which join these kind of projects?
Yeah, so the project which has been running now, and I can talk about more, is in the elementary school. And of course, you have the general idea that girls like it a bit less, and all the boys are extremely enthusiastic about it. And we see that as well. But that's also where that key difference comes from. We don't want to make propaganda for rocket, so to say. We try to make everyone enthusiastic about making, and making is much wider than just one passion, than just one interest field. So by also showing, for example, often the girls, that you can be anything. You can do anything. You can make anything. You just have to make it. You just have to do it. Yes, we use rockets, but that's not really part of the story we're telling. That's not really an important part of it, at least. So outside of the enthusiastic STEM students, there are a lot of students that also resonate with that idea of, hey, I can make my own future. And that's probably not space related for a lot of them, but hopefully for some of them, it will also be space related, because we showed them that you don't have to be a specific student. You don't have to be enthusiastic about space from the start to join.
Yeah, and about what Bart said, of course, this is a completely different topic, but like, when we see that girls are less interested than boys, then I think that representation matters. When you see a generation above you being represented well with all sorts, like both men and women, and that kind of pushes you towards wanting to be in the field a bit more, I think. That's why I think diversity and inclusion is such a big topic with everything right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the absolute worst example of diversity in there. Luckily, though, my colleague Sondaria is also in the chat. If you want to talk about that more with a person that's actually representative of that, we also try to do that in there. So most of my colleagues in education are women, and we are trying to really set the example of everybody can be a rocket engineer. You don't have to be this or that or whatever. Everybody can do it. But yeah, sorry, I'm a bad example.
But you have a great story.
Okay, so as we're getting quite close to the end of this panel, I would like to ask everyone another short question. And that is, what are the first steps? Because this discussion is like a step towards getting this goal, getting to this goal. And what are the first steps, for instance, for Jop and Tim to actually maybe help the teachers to do this more? And for us, which are already in the aerospace field, how can we get the ball rolling to inspire the youth about this? So who would like to start?
I would like to start with the project SU.Z.Y, the CanSat, and all the attention we got from school. We inspired another team. So this year there will be another team from our school participating in the challenge. And I think the image we're creating is very positive for the school and for all the children and teachers. We also have one teacher right now that's also very interested in space and found out about the CanSat challenge and wants to help the next team and help the school with space and technology. So I think it needs just a little spark, and with that little spark you can create a big thing.
Yeah, and we also get a lot of opportunities. We are, of course, really excited about the things we do, and we also tell our friends about it and on school, and then teachers hear about it, and we get to do presentations about our projects. So, for example, today we did our physics. We did a presentation about our CanSat, but last year we also already did a presentation about it for a lot more teachers that want to learn more about it. So there are teachers that want to know more and hear about it, and that's, I think, really great.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Prachi, what are the first steps that we could take to initiate it?
At the university level or at the school level? For
the school level.
I guess also your idea, Saviër, but we could go to schools and talk about the Lunar Zebro. That already is quite interesting. And when we go along with students, they see that it's so attainable. And when we break it down for them with the different subsystems that we have and how it really traces back to very fundamental tasks,
mm-hmm.
I think it already seems a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Jasper?
Next steps. There are a lot of steps we could take. But I was thinking, I think we should also join forces and try to get experts, as we are, as you are, in connection with schools. And maybe, we are in a typical situation, of course, now due to the COVID virus. But as we can have webinars and sessions and summits digital like we have here, we could maybe also do that for secondary schools, maybe via the A0 network, and offered by inspired people and inspiring people like you all and your colleagues and co-students. Mm-hmm. So that would be an interesting next step and thought, Atya.
Yeah, to actually join forces all together and see how we can do this. Bart, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, for us, it's really important in this digital, very, very digital era nowadays. We focus on two areas. We have my colleagues on the RIA focusing on the online inspiration to students, not only in our area, but around the world. We have a lot of students coming from Australia, India, from everywhere to the TU Delft purely for there. And we want to encourage that, and we want to motivate people to follow their passions. And on my side, what I'm focusing on is bringing our programs to more and more schools. Also working together with Zebro, with the science centers in Delft and in Amsterdam, and just trying to expand real physical making things into more and more schools, and get everyone excited about space and about our future. Because with these efforts, with all of you, hopefully, the future is bright and we're going to make it.
Yes. So sadly, our time is over. I would like to thank all panelists and the audience for being here. I have also sent a question, a comment in the chat section. It's our community page of Spacefluencers, where you could follow our team and how we will actually continue on this topic. As I think we have a lot of steps indeed that we can take from this discussion and from the projects that we're already initiating. But there's still a lot to do, and we will keep everyone up to date in the community channel there. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you to all the panelists, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.